Welcome to the podcast. Today we have a very special treat. We are with one of our partners here at Change MFCR. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Resealia McKinney and I'm really excited to be here. One of the counselors here and just so grateful for the opportunity. I'm excited for this podcast.
Yes, I am too, because you have a powerful story and you do a lot of powerful things because you're also a life coach and a speaker.
Yes.
And I've seen you speak. She's really good. I love it. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. My husband and I, we've been married nearly 21 years. And a part of my story really starts with some difficulties once we got married. Back in 2008, my husband and I, we lost our first daughter. She was born prematurely and she lived for 2 days before passing away. And so that was a very, very difficult time for my husband. And one of those things that really drew us closer as a couple, but just a very, very difficult and devastating time. And then, a couple of years after that, in 2010, I believe it was, yes, that was the first diagnosis. My husband was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, 2010, and then again, it came back in 2012. Yes, it was a very, very rough period. It was like, okay, what else is going to happen? The second time it came back, his doctor had said, if it came back again, they would need to consider what they call a stem cell transplant. And he did that, which is very difficult because I didn't really know about that process. But at the time, it's almost like you're taken back to almost like a near-death state where they remove all of your stem cells and all of your, it's almost like you have to redo all of your shots and everything, just like a newborn baby. So that was very difficult. He was hospitalized for probably nearly a month and then off of work for, I think, almost up to 6 months.
Wow.
And so then we were good. We were coasting easy for a while, but then in 2016, it came back again.
Oh, man.
That was the third time that he was facing that. Again, we had no idea what to do at that point. We had gone down to Moffitt in Tampa. I don't know if you're familiar with Moffitt. It's kind of like the best when it comes to treating cancer. And, they were wanting him to do another, another bone marrow type of transplant, which is something different because you need a donor for that one. We just didn't really feel right about that because the doctors were kind of like, he almost had more chance of dying from doing the transplant than not doing it. Honestly, we depended a lot on our faith, praying a lot. And really, it was nothing short of a miracle because we really didn't do anything different. He kind of stopped doing the chemo. We just were praying and believing God for just a miracle on his behalf. And that's exactly what happened.
Nice! I love that. I love it.
Yeah. He went back to the doctor and the doctor was like, it didn't even look like he'd ever had cancer. And it was just,
That's amazing.
It was an amazing thing. And in 2018, I myself was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wait, I didn't know this.
Yes.
I
I know. It was like that every 2 to 3 years. It was like, okay, God, like, I don't know what else you want us to learn, but I think we got it. I hope we got it.
Just stop for a little while.
Yeah. Let's get moving to something different. So that was 2018. I started chemo. Actually, on our anniversary, I think it was like it had to be like our 17th or 18th anniversary. So I went through that, had radiation, had a surgery, lumpectomy, just to remove the cancer. And I really haven't had any issues. Thankfully, I just had another mammogram and everything was good. So it's been about 5 years.
You broke the cycle. Now it's 5 years.
Yep, I broke the 5-year cycle.
That's awesome.
So it's been quite a journey for us. I don't know many couples that both have experienced some type of cancer and loss.
I don't think I know many that is even one of them. So,
it seemed for a while that all the rare things, like, things that don't really happen to most people, was happening
to you guys. Yes, and, I agree.
It was hard, but like I said, it really brought us together. And now I feel like I'm living in a season of answered prayer. We're like, I'm actually living and we're coaching. And we have a daughter. We have a 4-year-old. And, we have really always wanted to adopt. We knew that was something that we wanted to do. And it was always like, but after we had our children. And I remember when, my husband was just very adamant. He just wanted to be a father. Right. And I remember driving one day and it was like I was reminded, like, but you already have a child. Like, even though your child was not here, you did birth a child. It was like that calm that was like, okay, let's do this. And so we did. And just a very miraculous story. We got our home study completed. A family member of mine heard from an old high school friend that she hadn't talked to in years via social media and was like, I need your sister and her husband to contact me. So we thought, at the time it was because we were doing fundraisers and everything because adoption is just super expensive. So we thought maybe she just wanted to contribute. And she was like, no, my daughter's pregnant and she's due like in a couple of months and we want you guys to be the parents.
No.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? It's like
Yes. So it was a very quick. I mean, honestly, we met them. Our story was on the news, actually, because
I gotta look it up.
Yeah, we were on the news. It was so funny because a girlfriend of mine at the time had submitted our story. The church was doing like a pay it forward type of thing, and so it was like they were giving a $1,000 donation that we could use again towards the adoption. And they also aired the story on the news as a result of that. And so we were on the news that Thursday. And the following Thursday, we were back on the news because we already had our daughter. Like, it was like they did a follow-up story. And so she just turned 4, and she is like such a
wow, Resealia, I did not know all this stuff.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. And it's such a God story because when people see her, we often get like, "Oh my gosh, she looks just like you guys."
It was a connection.
She really does. She looks like she came from us. It feels that way. So it's
Well,
I know I've given you lots that you didn't even know.
I'm going to tell you something. I usually write that so I don't disturb you, so I can ask you a question. The paper's full, so I don't know where to start. But okay, resiliency. I mean. Then that is one of your coaching models, right? You help people.
Yeah.
Tell me how were you able to overcome some of these things, especially the loss of your dog, because that's hard, especially for a mom. That's brutal.
Yeah.
But I know you, and I know that you're not walking around. I can't see that pain. You know what I mean? I can't see. I know you're walking around in a, I'm gonna do this. You're very determined. I mean, you came here and you. You took off. So, why are you so resilient?
I think it's so funny because people often connect resilience like with my name, like resilient. Resilient.
There you go.
People said that for forever, and now I'm like, okay, I kind of see that because I've had to live through that. I said our faith definitely has been something that's been helpful in terms of us overcoming. But I definitely believe in the therapeutic process. My husband and I, when we lost, the hospital at the time was offering, where they had therapists and they were offering a group for parents who had lost children. It was very, very helpful for us to be among other parents who had just experienced the same thing. Some even worse, when I say worse, like there were parents who had gone up into the, and had stillborn children, or, at least we are grateful that we got to see our daughter, have some days with her. Even if it was just a couple of days, we're grateful for that. Some people didn't have that opportunity. So, that therapeutic process really, really was instrumental in helping us. Community, like definitely being around people, our church family, friends. We had people that really just, that we depended on, because it was times it was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to get through the next day. But people always kind of picked us up. Another thing I think that's interesting when it's a couple that's going through the grieving process. When I was down, my husband had a pretty good day. And when he was down, then I was, having a pretty good day. So we were really helpful in uplifting each other to kind of get through that process. And so I think, again, it speaks to the importance of having that community and people that, will uplift and encourage you through the process. But I think something, too, that I've had to realize is getting used to a new normal. Like, there was my daughter that I have now does not replace the one that I lost, and some people, I think that oh, great, now you're mom. And it's like, no,
that's a different person.
Right, it doesn't work that way. You will be amazed at the comments that we got when we lost our, like, oh, great, just have another one. Or, just, and I know people have the best intentions, but I would say, for people who are dealing with grief, or if you know people that are dealing with grief, be very careful and sensitive how you approach that, because you can end up saying something that cause more
like replacing people.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think one of the things is it's hard. You don't know what to say to a person that lost a child.
That's so true.
I don't know what to say. So when you mentioned it, I haven't brought it up because there's even here. I didn't want to tell you that. I left it up to you.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. Like I can't even imagine the pain you went through.
But it's so funny you say that. Well, I use funny lightly, but
no, I know.
But we have a cousin. Like, I never forget when we were going through that. Our family was just so instrumental. Brings tears to my eyes, but so just there. Like, we didn't have to say, like, stay with us. I remember our family, like. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
They were like, just staying at the hospital with us. Everybody was taking off to work, and it was just like, we're here. And so I remember, in light of what you're saying, one of our cousins was like, I didn't know what to say, so I just kind of Googled. What to say. But you know what? It was so helpful because it was the fact that she admitted she didn't know what to say, and it was. Okay, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say the wrong thing, so let me try to figure out what will be the right approach. And sometimes what people don't realize is that the right approach is really maybe not saying anything, just being there. Because if you say stuff, then you may end up saying the wrong thing. So it's like, just be there.
Especially during the time that you're going through pain. So, well, good. I think her telling you the truth, that was really good. That she didn't know what to say. It let you know she cares.
Yeah, that was exactly. Cool. That's what it showed more than anything. That she cares.
I'm actually very inspired by you. So, like, what would you say someone that's going, because believe it, a lot of people go through this. Not a lot of people, but they're more than you would want to admit. Go through something like this. Yeah. What do you say the first step is for them to take control of life? Because that's a major loss of control in life.
It's a major loss of control.
So what do you think? Something simple that you can tell, that they can tell themselves or do?
I think one of the first things is you have to tell yourself that, give yourself some grace, because you're going to get through it. Don't try to move too steadily. Don't try to avoid the pain. You have to sit with it. Like, you have to feel it, and it's normal to feel it because you're missing something. And even in the case of what I like to tell people about grief, the case of my daughter was very young. So it's not like we missed, we had this long life with her where she lived 30 years and then she passed. But the difference is you're grieving at that time what you thought life was going to be. Like, I did still miss the graduation. I did still miss the marriage. I did still miss all of those things because I had plans.
Yes, I didn't think about. Yeah, that's a whole. So
it's another dynamic, like you said, or dimension of grief because people don't think about that, and grief is not even just death. Sometimes people only associate it with it as you've lost a person, but like I said, sometimes people are grieving what they expected their life to look like, and it does not end up that way. Whether it's they lost their career or they lost their home or they thought they were going to be so much further in life, and some obstacles have gotten in their way. People grieve for so many different things, and so I think people are quick to say the different stages of grief, which is very important. Important to realize too that those are not linear. And that, you may approach those stages at different times, or you may come back to those stages, or you may feel them kind of all at once, and then one by one, it's different for everybody. And then, don't let people tell you how you should grieve, because it looks different for everybody. Some people need to go back to work because they need to clear their mind, and some people need to, stay out for a little bit and grieve differently. But I think just allowing yourself to feel that pain, not avoiding it, and really investing in yourself to get the support and help that you need.
That's good. Yeah, I like it. Yes, I love it.
It's important to realize because some people I think, I'm just going to get to the acceptance piece of it. And that's common.
Yeah.
Because I think our bodies are prone to protect us. And so a part of that denial is it's hard, it's that disbelief or that shock factor. Like, I'm really going through this. Like, this person, like, I'm not going to see them again.
So the acceptance, that's very important.
Yeah.
Because you could get stuck in that phase of this. How can this happen to me?
Yeah.
Why is this happening to me?
Instead of just, you get angry.
Yes.
You get angry and you start blaming. You start blaming yourself.
Yes.
Like, I've seen clients that have started blaming themselves. Like, I could have done more to prevent this.
Think that. We always think that.
Or what could I have done? Or if I've seen it coming. And the truth is, you can't. You can't.
It's so unpredictable. we think we've gotten used to it controlling everybody. It's
so unpredictable.
Yes.
Like, people will get into car accidents. Nobody plans not to come home.
Not ever.
Right? But it happens, like you said, more often than we think.
Yeah. Now, the thing that I see powerful is your relationship with your husband. I see that very strong because, like, one of the things you mentioned is that when he would have a update, he would bring you up. You guys kept playing off each other's.
Yeah.
But that could go really wrong, and it does for a lot of people, right? Whenever they lose a child or grief, it could drive them apart. Angry at each other. But you guys were able to be there for each other. So how did that feel to have that partner?
It was everything, honestly. It was everything because, and I agree with you. We've often said that this is something that could have drawn, drawn us apart from each other.
Definitely.
It definitely is something, and we've seen that. We've seen that with people who may have had like a special needs type of child, and they don't know how to handle it. And
Stress.
Because again, it's that I didn't expect this to be my story, right? I think for us, though, we had to decide that no matter what it is that we're going through, we're a team. Like my husband always says, we're Team McKinney.
I love it.
And so we had to decide that no matter what it is, we were a team. And we decided that so early on. I'll be honest with you, we had no idea what this team was going to have to endure, right?
You got hit hard from all angles.
No idea. I mean, and it was unheard of. Like my husband was, I think, late 20s when he first got diagnosed with cancer. I mean, it's like I remember going in the offices and we're like the youngest people there. Everybody else are old people. Like, what are we doing here? I mean, it was just like,
makes you strong, right? That every time you overcome these things, it's like a notch on your belt. Like, I did it. Do you guys feel that way when you talk? You're like, you see, we did that. We the best. I would be so excited. Like,
I mean, it definitely feels different on the other side of it. Once you overcome the things, it definitely.
But when you're going through it,
when you're going through it, no. But I think for us, it really helps us be more compassionate. What I've learned is that I didn't really have an understanding before of certain things until we've gone through certain things. Like before, I may look at people like, that is just crazy. Yeah. Like, you see those stories and it's like, how could you think about going to the hospital and stealing someone else's child, right? You hear stories like that and you're like you were just crazy.
Yeah,
but it happens. But I'm saying that to say, when I went through that situation, I understood.
God. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I understood.
You can understand how someone could get in that mindset.
Because you could want something so desperately.
Oh, I like that, actually.
That you're willing to do anything.
Yes, I see
to get it. And I think a lot of women I know women who are trying to be mothers and they're doing everything. And that's their number one desire, right? And they would do anything.
Wow. So wait, that was really strong of you. So you put yourself in that place right now for the conversation. That's very adaptable of you, ma'am. That was really cool.
But it gives you
I didn't think about it, but it is true.
For people who are grieving, and you think sometimes, like, how would someone's mind get to the place where they can do a certain thing?
It could happen. It's probably gonna happen.
It's gonna happen if you don't get the help and the support that you need.
Is that why why you became a counselor.
It is exactly. It's funny because I think that's a common saying of mine. It's funny, right? I say that a lot.
It is funny.
But I knew growing up that I wanted to do something to help people.
Yeah.
Like, when you were doing the career test, it was always leaning towards that. So, my bachelor's was in social work. I knew that was something that I wanted to do. But I think once I lost my daughter, it just magnified it because it put me in a place where I really understood pain. And so I saw the counseling aspect completely different. I saw it not just as this is a tool to help people, because it certainly is. But I saw it more like people need this.
It's detrimental to our way of life. There is no other way around it.
It's detrimental. And the thing I realized every time before I see clients, I'm praying before I see them, and I'm always like, I'm honored that I get to walk them along this journey.
Cool.
Because people don't realize how much that's a necessity. Like that's why we see so much addiction, and because people are trying to medicate the pain.
Yes.
And it's like, if I could just say, talk to somebody. Get it out.
Get it out.
You sit with it
and
for a
that's
moment.
where it works. It's magical. I mean, I haven't stopped using. I had addiction at one time, and that's exactly what it was. I was trying to put away that pain somewhere.
Yeah.
But ever since I started doing counseling, why was I doing that? So it is. It's a very important. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. So when you go into these sessions, do you get a lot of grief?
I've gotten some, yes.
Is it hard for you to not be in that place with them, or?
It's not hard for me to not be in that place with them because I know, I guess, what that place looks like. No, I haven't felt that it was difficult for me to do that. I think it's also somewhat easier because I know exactly where they are. And so when they're saying certain things, it's like, yeah.
You know what they're feeling. Yeah.
I know exactly what that feels like.
Think about that.
And so, no, it's not hard. It certainly, like I said, is an honor for me to be able to, like, wow, because I can see the different stages as they're progressing. I can see the anger. I can see the blame on themselves. I can
know how they feel. Like,
I know exactly
feeling,
how they feel.
where they're going through in their minds. So it's pretty cool. So maybe that is what you're a person of faith. Maybe this is what he was doing.
Yeah,
he was training you. You got to get trained.
And you know what? Oh, that's so good.
You got to get trained.
It's so good because, and that's kind of how we've considered this. Is that there had to be a lesson in this.
Had to. There always is.
And I truly believe that God doesn't waste anything. Like, I didn't just go through all of this for nothing. Like,
I hope not.
Right. Like, God, you got to use
it. That's me.
Right, exactly. So it's like we had to go through this with somebody else in mind.
Of course.
And I like I said, I'm honored that I get to do this because I think this is my training ground, that I'm able to now use my personal training. So for me, it goes even beyond what I learned in a master's degree. It goes beyond writing papers.
Yeah, you couldn't learn this in school. Ever.
It really brings to light the experience as the best teacher.
And it works because I see the clients that you see, because I'm an admin for you, right? So I get to see they love you. They keep coming. They come back for you but I can see why. You have this experience, so you know what not to say. See how we were talking about I wouldn't know what to say, or your family didn't know what to say to you. Yeah. You know what not to say for sure. So okay, so what's next for you?
I mean, honestly, I'm enjoying this season.
I love it. I would be too.
I'm enjoying this season. I'm enjoying the clients that I have, and I really want to continue this. I know you guys have brought do I want to ever have my own private? And I don't know. I mean, like I said, that hasn't been something years ago. I would say that's been something that I thought about. Now it's like, I don't know. You guys make this easy.
But this is yours. We're partners here. So
Right.
it's the same concept. So, and you're good. You're like really good. I don't know. There's something about you from when I met you, right? That I knew. I don't know. You know something. You can just see it, the way you carry yourself. And I guess it's all of this. So are you worried about your, what do they call it, regression of your cancer? Is that something that comes to mind?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I'll be honest. Every time I do the mammogram, it's kind of like I'm a nervous wreck. I keep looking at my chart. You know how they post the results, and I'm like constantly. I have to tell myself like it's gonna post. Just calm down. But it is. It's very nerve wracking. And my husband and I, we have that same conversation whenever he has to go get like a CT scan or anything like that, because because you've been there. There always is that fear of I don't want it to come back.
Please.
Like, please. And I mean, that's normal. I mean, and it's one of those things that you even go through with your clients is that you help them to validate what it is that they're feeling because it's normal. And so I think, just realizing that that's a normal thought, that I'm not wrong because I'm feeling scared or anything like that, and so it's always that relief when I get the good news. But yes, definitely, there's always that thing in the back of my mind. I don't know that I would say that I'm worried about it because it's not a constant thought.
Of course,
but it definitely is that reality that it could happen. I mean, and doctors are very honest about that. Like these, they give you all of these statistics that things could happen. Yeah, and it's like I don't really want to hear that.
That's what I'm thinking. Why would you? I don't want to hear
that, but I understand you're doing your job. Yeah. But you also said something too about knowing what to say to clients. And one of the questions that I love to ask clients, like when I first meet with them, is like, especially if they had a previous therapy experience, like, what are some things that you liked or disliked about your previous therapy experience? And that really gives me a lot of information. Like I've had clients really share some stories, and I'm always appalled, by some of the things that have been said to them.
Got it. Yes.
Especially, sometimes very judgmental type, and so we really have to remember our place as a therapist, that we're there for the client, for their benefit. And so I think, too, that has helped me to know what to say and what not to say just by asking that question because
they tell you honest. They are because they don't want it to happen again, whatever that. And I've seen those bad. I've had those bad experiences, so I know exactly what you're talking about. That's a good question. That way you make sure you're not going down because you could without knowing. You're not a judgmental person. So not that part, but you could say something that'll make them feel like you're doing it again.
Exactly.
Look at you. Exactly. Well, you need a counselor. She's here. She's really good. She's really good. So life coaching, you do life coaching as well, right? I do. Which I think is beautiful because life coaching is about setting goals. Yeah. So do you use some of that when you're doing your counseling?
I do. I think it's always important to have goals, and I'm really trying to grow in like what we call solution focused therapy.
I love that.
Where you do help clients develop an action plan, like okay, how are we going to move from here to here? Because I think that's very important. I think therapy could be an ongoing process. But I think at some point, too, you kind of have to put some plans in motion. So that we're not going around the same mountain, so many times. And, obviously, as a counselor, you're there for that, if that's needed. But you do want to help the client. Okay, so we're here. Let's come up with some solutions to kind of move you forward in this area. And so I think that is where coaching comes in.
It does help. That training with that. That's pretty good. Yeah. I can see as a coach, I can see how being a therapist and a coach can really help a client overcome and plan for the future. So what can a client, since I have you here, what can a client expect from you when they sit across from you in the office?
Sure. So one of the things that I try to make sure that it's very client centered. I try to make sure, as I said, that, and I tell clients, like, this is for you. Like this, I'm honoring your time because you're here, but this is for you. And I like for clients to feel heard. I think it's very important that, we all have that desire, to be seen and to be valued and to be heard. And so I really try to make sure that I'm that person for my clients. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to not just feel like, oh, she's just completing some paperwork.
You're doing a job, but you don't want them to feel that way because it's so hard to let it out.
They're letting out the most vulnerable things that they're not comfortable telling anyone. And it's like, I have to honor that.
Yes.
I have to honor that this is difficult for you. And I even praise clients like, thank you for your vulnerability, for, being open and honest and sharing that, because I know that was difficult to share.
That takes a lot of courage from a person. Like people that sit across from but they don't know how powerful it is that they're actually doing it, that they are sharing this and they're letting it out.
Yeah.
Also in the fact that they're doing something about it, whatever that feeling is, they hired a professional to do something about it so they could have a better future. So I love that. So you are client centric. I love it.
Yes,
I love it. That's why we met so well, because that's what we hear. They're humans.
Yeah.
And I mean, people can do such amazing things if they can if they can control or get rid of some of those things that are in the back of their head. I mean, we see it. Look at you.
Yeah, and that was really honestly the deciding factor to partner with you all, because I knew just from when I met Carolina and I met you, it was the thing that you guys have both said is we're here to help people.
Yes.
And I can align with anybody that's here to help. Because that's what I want to do. Yes. And so I've seen other therapists that it's kind of like that's not always
it's a job. They see it as a job and the notes and the
but these are people.
Yes.
And they're expecting us to help them. And in a sense we have to take responsibility for that.
That's right.
And so I don't take that lightly, but I'm honored, like I said, to partner with you all, because I know that you don't take it lightly either.
No, it's a great perk. What else is there? That's how I know everyone's different.
Yeah.
But the way I see it is that what else is there in life that you're doing something productive for the community? What else is there? So I'm looking forward to you're doing really good. People really like you. And I can see why people feel comfortable. I feel comfortable around you. I'm not really good with the one-on-one, but every time we sit down, I could talk for hours with you. So what would you like a client to know about you?
That's a good question. I would like a client to know that, for one, I'm a person just like them. And although I'm a professional that they're coming to for help, it's not that they have to be embarrassed about what it is that they're going through. They don't have to feel like I've seen clients that are just kind of anxious just about you even showing up for the therapeutic process because they're like, I don't know what you're going to ask me, what you're going to say. But just remember that I'm a person.
That's right.
Just like you are, that wants to help you.
I love it.
And like you said, this is not just a job for me. It's something that from when I was a young girl that I knew that I want to help people. Just remember that I'm going to honor you as a person, but know that I'm a person just like you are. I don't have it all together, and if there's some things that I don't know, we will explore it together.
That's the point.
Because I love to also collaborate with clients. So, even when we're talking about planning, their treatment, it's not just what I want you to do better. Like, no, let's collaborate.
Of course.
Like, what are some goals that you have? Let's make sure that we're on the same page. And so I think that that's very important too, to just honor them as a person and know that, I'm a person just like they are. And you don't have to be anxious.
Relax.
That doesn't mean that we won't have some difficult conversations.
Of course, but
that's why I'm there to walk you through
I like
those
that.
conversations.
I like that. I really feel like you were trained, you were prepared for this role, and you can see you love it. So that is really, really good. But I do want to say, I do look up to you as a person. As a professional, as a human, what you went through was really hard. It's not something that I think I can do, but it shows who you are. It shows what kind of person you can be or what you do. The fact that you were able to use that pain to help someone is, I don't know, it's huge. Do you have a book out yet? You should.
I do not have a book out yet, but I have considered writing a book.
You should. You really, really should, because, it's a pain that you don't see you don't get to meet a lot of people that have been able to overcome it the way you have, because people can get over it or not get over it or deal with it on a daily basis, but you haven't just dealt with it. You're doing something with it. Yeah. You're helping other people. So do you feel, I have a question. Okay. Do you feel every time you help someone, a mom or with grief, do you feel like it's for her, like under her name? I don't know how to say it.
Yes, yeah. I do. I definitely do. Yes. Like
her legacy.
Yeah.
That she's continuing. She's here. Do you feel that I feel like she's here.
Yeah.
You
can
see it.
And I did not want even her short life to be in vain.
Oh, love that.
I did not want that. And so, yes, definitely. It's in my mind constantly that this is not just me honoring the person that I'm seeing, but honoring her as well. But one thing I will say is that I think that pain has a way of connecting people.
Big time.
And I think that one of the things I've learned is that we may experience pain differently, like what we go through may be different, but the way the healing process is very similar. That's also one of the reasons why I wanted to do the counseling and the coaching, because I think that people, their first instinct is to just avoid pain.
Yeah.
Like we try to protect ourselves. And it's like, and one of the things that I say often is like, if I could, I would have never walked through any of the things I walked through. But it's not a choice, right? And they have to realize that it happened. And so I like to say it happened, now let's heal. Yeah. Like, you can't heal pretending you were never hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And so you have to acknowledge first that I've been hurt, but then what are you going to do?
Got it.
Are you going to depend on something else? Are you going to avoid it? Are you going to be busy? Are you, for some women, what I've seen a lot is they start trying to just advance in their careers. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something that they can control.
Got it.
Right? Because it's something that they don't have to necessarily focus on the pain that they're dealing with. I can control that. I'm just advancing. They're seen as this leader. They're seen as this professional, which, like I said, is a great thing, but they're dying inside.
Yeah. And the longer it goes, right, it gets worse.
It gets worse. So, and people respect them on such a high level to where they can't even be honest.
Yeah, because, oh my goodness, look, you really do know this grief thing.
Right? Yes. It's
that's amazing. You know all these dimensions to this grief. This is really your expertise. You need a book. Now.
I need a book.
Now.
I'm going to start working on it.
Yes, please. It's important.
You're going to write my foreword for me.
I'll do whatever you need. I just need people to get what you have. I need them to get it. Because, yes, I didn't even think about that. So you hide it with the work. That's your examples. You hide it with the work and you become respected because it'll drive you. All you would do is work all day, right? And when you get to the top, now how can you break down and tell somebody, I'm not okay? It's too late. Not too late, but it's hard.
It's hard.
With the people around you. They see you as this
strong, respected, fearless leader.
Whoa.
But on the inside, you're miserable.
So facing that pain is probably the first thing we have to do when we go through any grief. That's like...
We have to face it.
Got it.
We have to face it. Because what happens and people don't realize is that you're going to face it.
Yeah. There's no way around.
It's coming up, right?
Yeah.
And you don't even realize that other people may see it and you don't. Like people, sometimes you've seen people that you're like, there must be something wrong. They must really be hurting to make those types of decisions or say those types of things. But they don't want to admit it.
They don't want to admit
it. And everybody else around them is like, honey, you're hurt. Like I can see it.
They're giving you counseling cards. Yeah, go see my friend. You're like, what are you doing? Yeah, you have to deal with the pain.
You have to.
I ran from it when I went through my thing. I ran from it forever. I used to tell everybody I'm great. And then I wasn't great. I was in a lot of trouble. But the day that I did sit down and said, that's it, I'm in trouble. That's who I am now. For this time in my life, I'm a person that is in a lot of trouble. Ever since then, things start building up. You start healing little by little. So yeah, I love that point.
Honest.
Yes.
You had to get honest about it. And
the truth.
we live in a society where people are so like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Everything's good.
Which kind of sucks. I don't know. It's so easy to be truthful about where you're at. I don't know. It comes out better. That's what I learned. It comes out better in the long run, in the short term. I don't know, but I guess it's hard when who you're surrounding yourself with, right? Who can you talk to? And where do you see the mental health right now? How do you see the current state of it?
I definitely have seen some progress.
Okay.
So I'm happy. I see a lot of, even culturally, like I'll say culturally, especially for African American people, a lot of times therapy was, these people just want to get in your business.
Yeah.
They're asking all these personal questions. And I don't want to tell people, but I am starting to see a shift. I'm starting to see where people are being more open to therapy, especially women. Now, our men, sometimes it takes some time to get there.
But it's getting there.
So I definitely see it more respect there, more of a need. People are starting to see like, no, what we went through is not normal.
It's not, and we shouldn't have to do it alone. Why? There's no reason to do it alone. You have people ready to help.
Yes, and they're starting to realize that even my family was dysfunctional.
Yes.
And people are starting to realize that I've normalized this dysfunction.
Yes, and some of that, I'm living in that dysfunction, and I'm continuing it just because I haven't sat down to let it out. So yeah, and men are getting into it. Yeah. We get a lot of men clients here, which is, I'm proud of that, right? Because as a man, that was one of the most difficult part as a man, as a Latin man, because it's also the same way. The Spanish, they don't think you should be telling your stuff, your business. Yeah. So I see, but now it's changing.
It's changing.
It's changing, which is good. So you think the mental health, the current state of mental health is improving?
I think it definitely is improving.
What do you think about, so social media, how do you think that's helped? I know. I had to ask.
I think it has helped in some ways, because I think I've definitely seen people committed to sharing their therapeutic stories, and it's helping encourage people like, okay, well, if they did it, I maybe can try it too. It's helped in that way. But I think it also has kind of in a negative way too, where, again, it kind of feeds into that lie of what the therapeutic process really is. Like, we're not just trying to get into your business. We have to get in your business.
There's no choice. That's what we're here for.
Because that's the only way we're going to help you. And I tell people that, honestly, therapy is not going to work if you're bringing your representative. Like, it's kind of like you go on that first date and nobody's really being honest about who they are. Everybody's like showing up to impress, right? Sometimes you can do that in therapy, but you're not really getting the help you need because you're not being honest.
So is that the hardest part to get through as a therapist? Now I'm not a counselor, so now I'm asking, like, is that hard to get through? Break through that?
But you also have to look at the cues, because sometimes you have to look at what are they not saying. Because you can tell sometimes when people are not being completely honest, like there's more to that story that they're not sharing.
And you guys are good, you're trained for that.
So. Right, and it's kind of like, okay, how do I ask this question in a different way? Or how do I let them know, like,
I got it all. I smell something now.
I'm here to help you, but you gotta let me help you.
And it is hard. It is hard, especially if you're not used to the therapeutic process. It's really hard to sit across this stranger at the moment. And now I'm gonna tell you what, but it works because legally you can't say nothing.
Exactly.
So it works, and I think that's where it worked for me. What worked for me is that I was able to let down my guard completely, because once I found out that this person can't tell nobody legally, unless you're hurting yourself or anything like that. But that's not what's on my mind. I could tell. I let it out. In fact, so much so that when I finished my first therapy, I'm like, feel bad for you. You can have it. You asked me. You asked me for honesty. So it's what you guys do is very powerful, and it works. It works. It does. Believe it or not, even if it's not the greatest therapist in the world across from you, there's still value. And I change therapists a lot. When I see it, that I'm losing what I need, I take it seriously. Move on.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
so it's strategy for me because I think it's so important. It's gotten me where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Without it, I have no idea what I would have been going through. How did it help you during your grieving situation? Did it help you at all?
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. I think it's very important to like you were saying, sitting across from a stranger, build rapport.
Yes.
Like you have to do that. You have
And
to.
how do you do that? That's hard. I mean,
it starts from the moment you see them. You know, from the moment I'm going to introduce myself to a client in the lobby. You know, from that moment. You have to build that rapport. Like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm glad
so
you're
the
here.
work starts
It
then.
starts there. Not just once you close the door and you get them in the room, right? Because if you're just kind of stoic and you're like, hi, you know what I'm saying? And you're not really encouraging or, you know, they're scared to go back in the room with you. So it starts from the moment you make that eye contact with them. They have to know, like, see that you care. They have to see that, okay, I could be comfortable with this person. And I've gone through some bad therapy experiences.
more than I
I remember one that was just yawning the whole time.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was, you know, after a while, I stopped talking. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's
because I feel like you're not listening anyway. Like you're tired. You probably just should have rescheduled. Maybe had a long night or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but, I mean, because think about it. For you, this is whatever you're saying to them is such a big event in your life. And this person's yawning like that. Who cares? That's it. So, and yeah, you're right. They might have just been tired, maybe back-to-back clients, but
still, it matters.
You should have called off.
It matters.
Should have. So there's something that you just shared that I interview a lot of counselors. I'm around a lot of counselors, and I've never heard that it starts from when you go say hi to them at the door. And it makes so much sense. I never thought about it. So yeah, that's where it starts.
Yeah, and I kind of think of that like my church. Like my church is really big on making people feel welcome. Right?
Nice.
And so once you're driving in our church parking lot, you have people out there with signs waving. You have people at the door. You know, you're welcome. We're glad you're here. And so I kind of take that same type of attitude here, where it's like, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Oh, you look nice. And it's not even just, I'm trying not to be genuine. I mean, these are genuine compliments, as I would say to anyone.
Make sure they see it or feel that that's how
they feel that welcome. You know, they feel welcome. They feel like, oh, she's glad that I'm here. Mm-hmm. They don't feel like, oh, she's had so many clients today and she's tired and she wants to get the session over with. Each session has to be like, okay.
Yeah, all the way in, because they shouldn't matter to them that you saw 5 people.
Exactly. I have to be in for them.
And it's good that you say that. When I answer because I answer the phones, that's probably my favorite part of the job. When I talk to clients, that's how I treat them. Like, we're happy to hear you're calling. Yeah. I tell them all the time, I'm proud of you for even calling. When they say, I don't know what I'm proud of you for giving us a call. That's the first step. So let's get you with a counselor, because that is where it starts. The comfort level.
It starts.
Wow, I didn't know you guys were doing the same thing.
If someone called you and you didn't have that attitude, they may be like, I don't know if I even want to be a counselor.
Yeah, this is where we're at starting.
Right, if someone's rude on the phone or it starts.
I just didn't know that you guys also went through that process. It's enlightening, because I see you guys going to getting a client, and I never thought about that part of it. But yeah, you have to.
You have to, especially for new clients.
Yes. Well, you're doing amazing. I love that the clients are comfortable with you. I love that you treat them like humans. And I don't know, I love that you're here. My goal is you never go away. No matter what, we'll figure it out. So that's my plan. No. Yes. But I'm very proud of what you went through and what you've overcome. And I'm so happy that you're using it to help other people. Because can you imagine how many people you're helping just by telling your story? So speaking, before we go, so how's the speaking? What do you...
So I definitely want to do more of that. I love it. I love teaching. I love to share my story with other people. And so, yeah, I would love to do...
Do you use some of the counseling concepts when you speak? As a speaker, I'm curious, because for me, you guys would be perfect. You're perfect speakers because
Yeah.
you know behavior. How much of it do you use when you're, or is there anything that you use? I'm just curious.
That's a good question. I think that, some of those same things that we were just talking about, like making people feel a part of what you're doing. I think that's very important for speakers because I think
Yes.
sometimes we can speak at an audience
Yes.
and not with them.
Yes.
They have to feel a part of the
Mhm.
conversation, making things interactive, that sort of thing. So yeah, I would say.
And they
that
let you know. The crowd lets you know that's what you're doing. They don't play.
Right.
When you're out there, they let you know.
And not looking above them because I like to, when I'm speaking, finding that person in the room, that person that's
Yeah, the one that's
the one that's like you can tell is with you.
Yes.
That's your person.
Yes,
And,
that's
you
the-
kind of can
yes.
fill the room by that person, but you also can tell when you're losing people.
Yes, immediately.
It's like, all right, I either got to shift or I need to end this.
It's over.
It's over.
So
They're starting
we
it
want
off.
to do
Yep.
something. We want to do a speaking event, a mental health speaking event, and
Oh,
of
that's
course
good.
you're going to be. You have to be, and hopefully we just don't know if we're doing it at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So, but
Whatever you do.
yeah, you better be there.
Amen.
So I'm proud. Is there anything else you want to?
No, thank you so much. This was fun.
Thank you. And again, if you need a speaker, please. What are some of the subjects you speak about? I'm sorry. I just want to make sure we get
you're
everything out there.
fine. So I've spoken on grief. I'm sure that I use some of it in terms of being able to engage and captivate your audience. Definitely have spoken on way to help people overcome different types of pain that they may experience. Like I like to say, helping wounded women, because a lot of times women don't realize the wounds that they walk around with. Another thing I've spoke on is unpacking baggage.
Got it.
I kind of do it traveling and how it takes a while for us to unpack our bags, but doing that emotionally.
No, I
we
can
don't
see.
really
Yes.
deal with the trauma,
Mhm.
and so we just kind of pile the luggage on. So those types of things. Are things that I
Nice.
enjoy
Well,
speaking on.
if you guys need a speaker, I've seen her. She sent me her video so I could use it on her website, and I saw it. I was watching. I was like, yes. I was like, and then I had to wake up and go, wait, I'm working. What am I doing? So yeah, if anything you need, counseling, I highly recommend. You're just a powerhouse. There's no other way to explain what you're powerful. And your story just continues to empower you and empower other people. I'm very happy to be working with you. Anything you need from us, we are here. So thank you for joining us.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Repeat after me. I am powerful. I am powerful. Louder. I am powerful.